1, 2, 3, funky.
Hi, my name is Maddie. Welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be my August bullet journal plan with me. This month I went with an ice cream theme and it's designed for beginners, but as always you can adjust it to your skill level. And let's go ahead and get started. For August I decided to go with an ice cream design. I thought it'd be a fun way to end off what I consider to be the main summer months. And for the cover page, I'm just drawing this double scoop waffle cone, because if you don't get a waffle cone, what are you doing with your life? That's the best kind. And then I just wrote August underneath it to keep it pretty simple. For this design, I'm just using all Crayola Super Tips, and I wanted to not color in the cone just to keep things looking more open, but as you can see here, I'm erasing some of my guiding lines. As you all know, I really enjoy sketching out my designs before filming these to making sure that things turn out how I want them to, and that has really been helping me a lot this year with the bullet journal. So the other colors that I selected were this really pretty peach corally color. I don't really know how to describe it. And the other one is the signature lavender that I've been using throughout my bullet journal for the entire year. I guess you could say that 2020 has been the year of the lavender bullet journal for me. Then again, to keep things simple, I just used a black brush pen to write out August at the bottom. Moving along to the quote page, the quote I selected says, "Enjoy life before it melts." I always like to do a quote that reflects the theme. One unusual thing I did this month was write it all out in just plain black, and you'll see why in a few moments. The next thing I did was outline the little ice cream cones using the 01 fine liner from my Sakura set, and I thought that these sort of tied in the ice cream theme very nicely while not being too overwhelming. Once I got all of the outlines done, of course I erased those guiding marks so that way the color does not permanently stick the pencil marks on the page, and then I used the coral and lavender colors to tie in my color scheme.
I'm worried about the way I've been living. I'm worried.
Then, since the brown pen is kind of large, I just colored in the cones a solid color because I thought it would be too hard to try and get a nice waffle cone pattern with such a large pen. Then once I got done with that, I took the coral and lavender colors and sort of created this bubble outline around the quote, which I think turned out pretty nicely, and I wound up using it throughout the rest of the spread. It takes me a few minutes to kind of figure out how I was going to work this, but in the end I think it turned out really cute.
That you look at me different. I'm worried that this will all change. I'm worried about keeping you safe. I'm worried that I'm not that lucky. I'm worried.
Next, it's time for my monthly calendar spread. So as we all know, August has 31 days, but the way that the days are spaced out, it created 6 rows in the calendar instead of 5. So I had to follow the spacing that I used for May, and instead of being 7 by 7, I believe they're either 7 by 6 or 7 by 5. I cannot really remember, but the outline for this is fairly simple, so let's speed it up.
That ain't never gonna love me. I'm worried that I'll be a fucking joke. I'm worried.
Once I've finished drawing all the lines, of course no calendar is complete without some weekday headings, so I took my 08 fine liner from the Sakura set and wrote out Sunday through Saturday. Then I took the lavender Crayola Super Tips to give them a little highlight at the top and just make it look more interesting, honestly. Then I took the coral color to create a smallish circle in the top left hand corner of each square, and this is where I'll be writing the corresponding date.
That I don't have control. Don't worry, baby, don't worry.
To write out the dates, I just used the 01 fine liner just because I find that anything bigger, it gets hard to fit 2 numbers into the little circle, especially when you get to like 22 through 29, and the size has just worked very well for me in the past. After that, I took the brown Crayola Super Tips and created the waffle cone pattern in each of the free blocks. So these are blocks that still had to go on the calendar spread, but there is no August date for them. I've been doing this for the past few months and I think it looks pretty cute. Plus I really wanted to tie in the brown color because I hadn't on this spread yet.
One gets no sleep, why you always in a hurry? You got bigger things planned for you, don't worry. You ain't gotta come to conclusions.
Then on the sidebar I wrote out August 2020 with my black brush pen as I always do, but I wanted to tie in sort of that bubbly effect that I had been using, so I took the coral color to achieve that look, and honestly this effect reminds me of something that you would see on ice cream shops anyways, so I thought it was very fitting for this spread.
Early. Don't worry, baby, don't worry. One gets no sleep, why you...
The last finishing touch was adding a lavender band to make up for the fact that that was most definitely not centered on the page. Now it is time for the mood tracker, and if I'm being honest, I had a hard time coming up with a cool and creative idea for this month, but in the end I just decided to do a giant ice cream scoop and draw a bunch of little sprinkles to be what I was going to color in, because as you all know, of course I had to do a coloring in mood tracker. Nothing else really does it for me. So I started by taking the 01 fine liner to outline all the aspects of my design so I could erase those guiding marks.
Always in a hurry, you got bigger things planned for you, don't worry. You ain't gotta come to conclusions this early.
Right here I am just labeling the different items I'll be coloring in with the numbers 1 through 31. This way I know which little icon goes with which day. I did have to add a few hearts on the waffle cone because I did not have enough room to draw 31 different sprinkles. Next I took the brown Crayola Super Tips to create the waffle cone pattern again so I can erase those guiding lines.
I'm worried about my father's health.
Next, I took the coral color and outlined mood tracker using that same bubbling technique to tie it in from the previous spreads.
About being by myself, I'm worried I ain't doing too well. I'm worried, but I did it.
The final thing I needed to add onto this page was the key, so I took the 3 colors I've been using throughout the whole theme so far, which are the brown, lavender, and coral colors, brown being the saddest, lavender being in the middle, and coral being the happiest. Then it's time to move on to the habit tracker. So again, the spacing had to be a little bit different since the calendars needed to be larger, but I was just copying the spacing from May because they were both the same. I started off by writing out habit tracker, but as you will see, I had a little bit of a spelling error, which I had to use some whiteout to fix, but no worries, it turned out all the same in the end. It isn't the perfect solution, but I just decided to white out where I had messed up and redo it once it dried, and I just went ahead and continued on with creating my 4 mini calendars, but of course leaving 6 rows for the dates instead of the normal 5. And the 4 habits that I choose to track are drinking enough water, working out, eating healthy, and wearing my retainer at night. Since the spread has stayed so consistent, I'm going to speed it up through the calendar area really quickly.
To myself, yeah, I'm worried that you don't need me. I'm worried that you're gonna leave me. I'm worried that it won't work out, yeah.
Essentially how this works is each habit is assigned to one of the mini calendars, and each day that I successfully complete the habit, I draw a colored circle around that day, and I set goals at the beginning of each month for how many times I want to complete that habit, and at the end of the month I tally it up to see if I met my goal. So right here I'm just creating a black band at the top of each calendar where I'll be using a white Jelly Roll pen to write in the corresponding habit.
I'm worried that I'll never make it out, yeah. Don't worry, baby, don't worry.
Next, I'm using the coral color to create the bubbly lettering effect, as I've talked about so much in this video. Honestly, I'm just obsessed with how it turned out. After that, I am setting my goals for each month, and in every one of my videos I talk about the importance of good goal setting, So please make sure that you're setting achievable goals for yourself and not setting the standards too high, but also you don't want to be on the other side where you're setting goals that you're completing within like the first 10 days of the month, because obviously you need some more motivating goals. So for this section, I'm just using the 08 fine liner to write out each one of the categories and my desired goal for that category. Then I'm creating the final tally section, replicating it in the same format because I love a good consistent format, of course. Now it is time for my iconic gratitude spread. I kept it very simple this month yet again. I've honestly been liking the more simpler gratitude spread, so it's more focused on what I'm grateful for rather than the spread itself, but you can make this more intricate if you want. I just used the lavender color to write out gratitude, the coral color to make a border, and to incorporate the brown color one last time, I drew an X in each one of the corners. I don't know, kind of unnecessary, but also a cute touch. And now it is time for my August 2020 bullet journal flip through.
You got bigger things planned for you, don't worry. You ain't gotta come to conclusions this early. Don't worry, baby, don't worry. Go and get some sleep, why you always in a hurry? You got bigger things planned for you, don't worry. You ain't gotta come to conclusions this early.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, comment down below any theme ideas you have for September, and be sure that you're subscribed and have the bell turned on so you can be notified every single time I go live or upload a new video. All those actions really help my channel grow, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast.
It's not about personality matrices and charts. It's all about the bumps in your heart.